I think choosing Elon Musk as their Time Person of the Year is a pretty darn good choice. The only other person, high-profile person that I can think of who has had a surprising positive impact, used his position of power, his platform, to question authority and to be skeptical of public health officials, especially during the COVID pandemic, is Joe Rogan. So I think he's probably a runner-up in my mind. But Elon Musk is a pretty darn good choice for Time Magazine's Person of the Year. It's also refreshing. I was kind of surprised to see this because usually Time Magazine picks people that I do not agree with. I mean, remember last year, Time Magazine picked both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as their Person of the Year together as a pair, one person. They picked Joe and Kamala, which to me was just funny last year because it was so obvious that they wanted to pick Kamala Harris because they thought she was the heir apparent. She was the rising star of the Democratic Party. She was the it child to latch onto. But it was what, weeks, less than a month, if that, after the election, they couldn't exactly just diss the president-elect of the United States. So they put Biden on the cover too. But anyway, usually it's a bunch of people I disagree with. For example, this year, I think their Athlete of the Year is Simone Biles. You remember my analysis of Simone Biles, which I stand by. I don't think we've had any information that's been released that changes my view on what happened with Simone Biles at the 2020 Olympic Games. They picked her as the Athlete of the Year as if what she did was heroic instead of, well, it's a shame. Okay, but Elon Musk. So Elon Musk he's caused this outrage, or I shouldn't say he's caused this outrage. An outrage from the left has occurred as a result of Elon Musk being Time Magazine's Person of the Year, and it's pretty obvious why. First of all, Musk has been outspoken against government mandates and against COVID-19 lockdowns, government-mandated COVID-19 lockdowns. He said that about COVID-19 vaccine mandates. He said, "I believe we've got to watch out for the erosion of freedom in America." And to the radical left, this is about the worst thing that you can possibly say, even though it's perfectly common sense. This is the worst thing you can possibly say. A year ago, in April of 2020, Musk slammed the lockdowns as well. He called them fascist. He said it's breaking people's freedoms in ways that are horrible and wrong and not why they came to America or built this country. So just a little preface about why the left is so angry, why they're so outraged, all these blue check marks. Musk is a nut. He's a crazy man for sure. And I mean that in the positive way. Also, there's some intellectual inconsistency in many of his political viewpoints, and he has a right to be intellectually inconsistent, but he generally tends to lean more conservative or at least more libertarian on many of these issues. Again, why the left hates him so much. But what's interesting about Elon Musk and why I think he deserves this honor, deserves to be chosen as the Person of the Year, is because he's been very open about his business endeavors being about the mission first. He actually even tweeted just this week, he tweeted Mars and cars. Those are the two things he cares about. Those are the two things that he's dedicated his life and his fortune, his brain and his innovation to achieving. And the word innovation here is very critical. We've talked about this before in a previous episode about masculinity and how modern men are lacking this the frontier to be explored, and how without some kind of innovation, without some kind of exploration, without some way to express their creation or their desire to build, then masculinity is diminished. And when masculinity in a culture is diminished, that of course causes that culture to look in on itself, to turn in on itself, which is somewhat what we're seeing here in the United States. But Elon Musk is the exception to this rule, at least in the public sphere, at least of people who are as wealthy as he is, who have his platform as large as he is. He's dedicated to the expansion, this innovation, the only thing that keeps us from turning inward on ourselves, if you will let me wax philosophical for a moment. And we are obviously, in our country, starting to turn on ourselves or eat ourselves, if you will. I mean, the vaccine mandates is the perfect example of this. You know, saving lives, let me ruin yours. I mean, we are fighting ourselves. If we fall, we will fall from within. That's what I truly believe. And so Elon Musk has dedicated his life to innovation, to expansion, to creating something that nobody else has created. And he admits that he's done this not purely out of a sense just of business, although he's built an incredible business, but because that's what he wants to do. And he's been incredibly successful. I don't need to tell you that he's insanely rich, probably one of the richest people out there. I don't know if he is the richest right now or not. That fluctuates, but one of the richest people in the world. And like I said, well deserving of this honor.